Can we start by welcoming Mr. Hill back to school meeting? As usual, I just want to remind everybody, make sure that cell phones are off and away and not glowing visibly from the stage. Hello to the folks over in Getz. I hope we were better this week about leaving food for the folks in Getz for the folks in Getz. And if we're not, we're going to have to lock Getz in advance, which would just be ridiculous and a shame. Today, as you can tell, is a different setup. We have our annual Alumni Award presentations today, which means that we're not going to have our usual round of announcements and presentations, but I do want to acknowledge that this has cut short the sports wrap, and Ned was eagerly looking forward to acknowledging, commending, celebrating the success of the crew teams who had clean sweeps over the weekend. So crew, well done. And with that, it is my pleasure to turn the podium over to Mr. Chris Hodgins, who is President of the Alumni Association and current Choate parent. So please welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. I am Chris Hodgson, President of the Alumni Association. In addition to being the President of the Alumni Association, I'm also a parent of two students who are sitting out here right now. I am not going to say their names so they can maintain plausible deniability as needed. Your choice is in, hey, is that your dad? What, him? No. It's okay, I understand. The Alumni Association works with the Alumni Relations Office to help our alumni stay connected to the school and to each other. We do this through 30 to 40 events around the country and abroad. We do it through social media, print media, send e-news with the fabulous President's Column every month. And we do it through events on campus such as Reunion and through the Sixth Form Transition Dinner, which we had last week. I think we all had a great time at that. Sixth Formers, yeah? All right. I was very gratified for the feedback I got, which was, this was not as lame as I thought it was going to be. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's a total success in my book. You are loving your vests, right? Do we see vests here down front? It's free. It's free choke gear. Now, the Alumni Association also helps to select the winners of the Choate Rosemary Hall Alumni Award, the school's highest honor. The Alumni Award is given each year to a male and female who have made a significant contribution to their field. In the words of former Alumni Association President Woody Lakind, they have given something to make this a better world. Past honorees include John F. Kennedy, actress Glenn Close, UN Ambassador Adlai Stevenson, author Edward Albee, Paula Lloyd, who gave her life in Afghanistan. She got the award last year. President of the National Organization of Women, Terry O'Neill, and of course, our own Mr. Yankus. This year's honorees, Jeffrey Cowan, class of 1960, and Amy Lehman, class of 1991, are incredibly accomplished people who have given much in the service of others. We are honored to have them as Choate alumni, and we are very excited to have them here today. It's now my privilege to welcome Dr. Curtis to the podium to present the Alumni Awards. Thank you very much. Go Choate!
Can't resist. Morning. Welcome. Hi to everyone in Getz. You can wave at me. Okay, good. We do this for a couple of reasons, I think, as I was reflecting on an assembly like this. One is to, as an institution, as a school, to acknowledge and thank and appreciate our own, and let them know how honored we are that you are alumni, and how impressed and appreciative we are of the work you've done and the contributions you've made to make this a better world for all of us. And so for those individuals and their families that are here, I think it's a very important moment, and we hope significant to you as well. But I think we could do that privately. We don't. We do that in front of the school. We hope to make the honor even greater, but because all the people that receive this award, by definition, have essentially, whether specifically, in Ms. Lima's case, in these seats, Mr. Cowan may be other seats, but have essentially sat in the seat that you are currently occupying as students, had the same experience as you, and you should feel tied to them in some ways. And we hope that that will make a connection for you, but also prove an inspiration. We talk a lot about all the opportunities you have and taking advantage of those and experiencing this family, this community, these times, and how they will set you up to take advantage in future moments. So we love to put examples to you of people who have taken those skills, we hope, and the things that they've learned here in the interactions, and put those into practice in extraordinary ways, knowing that all of you have those same capabilities inside of you, and we look forward to hearing about those in the years to come. Yeah? Good. So, on to business. Jeffrey Cowan, class of 60. Today we're privileged to present the Choate Rosemary Hall Alumni Award to Jeffrey Cowan, class of 60, lawyer, author, distinguished professor, playwright, and Emmy award-winning producer. Like many of you, Geoff followed an older sibling to Choate. In September 1956, he left the Dalton School in New York City to join his brother Paul here in Wallingford. A conscientious student and unremitting worker, I'm told, Geoff began making his own mark by serving as an apprentice for the News. In December 1957, he was nominated to the News Board, and then the following year elected co-managing editor of the News. His literary talents also got him elected to the board of the Literary magazine, and his keen interest in history saw him as vice president of the current History Club, as it was called. Then Headmaster Seymour St. John commented, and I quote, "Geoff has a wide variety of strengths, and they are coming more and more to the fore. My bets are all on him." I want to know how much you bet, because I want to collect. In what was to be predictive of Geoff's future path as a prolific author, his sixth form English teacher said of him, quote, "I perceive a passion for the written word, a feeling for style, an aspiration to create." They did hedge bets. I may be wrong. But in him stir those energies and impulses which often proclaim the artist. He was right. I devoutly hope that he will not allow his talent to roam unsubdued, but he will learn to discipline it, to mind it, to become its master. The senior class will recall me mentioning this next section to them before, a couple of weeks ago. In a letter to Seymour St. John dated June 24th, 1960, we keep these things. Just weeks after graduating, Geoff wrote, quote, "I am grateful for the education I received during my 4 years at Choate. I remember a chapel talk during my third form year in which you suggested that we develop the habit of writing letters of appreciation to people who have influenced our lives. This is a letter of my appreciation for more things than I can possibly list in a single letter." Thank you. With his intellectual spark ignited, Geoff headed to Harvard, where he majored in American history and literature and was editor of the Crimson. Upon graduating, he and his brother Paul went to rural Mississippi to help register black voters. When the Cowan boys wrote home about their experience, their mother Polly and sisters Holly and Liza printed and distributed their accounts, published in Esquire and republished as Letters from Mississippi, a chronicle of the so-called Freedom Summer. In 1965, Geoff returned to the South and co-founded the Southern Courier, an early civil rights newspaper giving Alabama's disenfranchised black community a voice that had not been heard before. He graduated from Yale Law School in 1968, worked on the presidential campaign of Senator Eugene McCarthy, and then practiced law in Washington, D.C., where he co-founded the Center for Law and Social Policy. He moved to Los Angeles in 1972 and eventually became director of UCLA's Communications Law program. As if that wasn't enough, in 1992 he won an Emmy as executive producer of the television movie Mark Twain and Me, and his books include the best-selling The People vs. Clarence Darrow, The Bribery Trial of America's Greatest Lawyer. In 1993, which the St. Wall Street Journal called the best book ever written about a trial lawyer. With Leroy Aarons, Geoff also co-wrote the award-winning play Top Secret, The Battle for the Pentagon Papers. In 1994, President Bill Clinton appointed Geoff to be the 19th Director of Voice of America. By the way, his father, Louis Cowan, was the second Director of Voice of America from 1943 to 1945. Important years indeed. From 1996 to 2007, Geoff was Dean of the University of Southern California's prestigious Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism. When he stepped down as Dean in 2007, he was named a university professor, and then in 2010, he was appointed inaugural holder of the Annenberg Family Chair in Communication Leadership and director of USC's Annenberg Center on Communication Leadership and Policy. As the first president of the Annenberg Foundation Trust at Sunnylands, he is carrying on the Annenberg legacy by developing Sunnylands into a world-class venue for important retreats for top government officials. In fact, President Obama and China's President Xi Jinping held a summit there in June 2013. His longtime colleague, USC Annenberg School Associate Dean Marty Kaplan, said Geoff has used Choate's chapel talks, those long ago disciplined and enduring virtues learned at school, as a benchmark to inform his decisions in life. Therefore, it's my pleasure for his commitment to the power of communication to serve democracy, and for living a life guided by conscience and conviction, we present the 2014 Choate Rosemary Hall Alumni Award to Jeffrey Cowan, class of C. It's 1960.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I don't know if any of you were thinking, as I was, as the headmaster was reading all that information about me when I was here, what files are they keeping on you? And what was he nice enough not to mention about me? People were actually kicked out of school in my era for things that you guys take for granted, but undoubtedly there's still some frontiers today. I want to actually, rather than giving you a talk, just ask you a question, something to maybe think about, and that is, how is the Choate that I was part of changed into the Choate that you're part of? And is it a better place today, or was it a better place then? I was actually here in 1958 when John F. Kennedy was the first person to be given this award. He wasn't president yet at that time. And it's an interesting question to me because, and two of my classmates are here, at least two, our class has actually been having an online debate on this subject, in which some of our classmates are saying, what happened to that great old school? And others are saying, it became this terrific school. And so there's a fascinating debate, and I would just ask you, maybe when you have a chance among yourselves or with some of your teachers, or even if you know some graduates of school, if your siblings or your parents went, think about that question. How has the school changed? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it just something different? And I think as you think about that question, there are so many things that are important. Are you looking at values? Are you looking at creativity? Are you looking at traditional academic accomplishments? Are you looking at the whole person? Are you looking at whether somebody's great in the arts, or whether they're terrific, maybe they're a journalist, or if they're a great athlete? What are the things you want out of a Choate education? My own feeling is, and I do hope you'll debate that, my own feeling is that the best way of looking at that is, who does Choate produce as its graduates? And I think the answer to that is the people in this room, and it's going to be the next honoree, who's really something I'm very proud to receive this, along with Amy. Because I think that your generation is being trained for a world that has changed profoundly, and where you're going to continue to make a huge difference. And so a part of that world is social entrepreneurship, which didn't even exist as a phenomenon. That phrase didn't exist when I was here. But many of you will go on to create nonprofit organizations that will do great things. Many will go into business. Many will go into government. You'll go into all different kinds of fields. Many of you will be artists. But I think you are being trained in a world in which that's going to happen more profoundly than would have been possible in my era. And I just want to leave you with this question, which I've thought about a lot. I was asked when I graduated from Harvard, or not when I graduated, our 25th reunion, they said, what do you learn most about from when you were in school? What was your most important part of your education? Was it the classes? Was it the extracurricular activities? Was it being in Cambridge and Boston? Was it your classmates? And I think I gave an answer that I then discovered was the answer that most people had given. Our classmates. And so think about that for a minute, because it's the dynamism and the diversity and the excitement and the intelligence of your classmates, as well as your faculty, as well as the very exciting curriculum that they are creating, as well as all the classes and the extracurricular things that are possible. But it's your classmates who really will continue to inspire you throughout your lives. So thank you so much, Alex, for this award. Thank you, Cho, for this award. And thank you for those nice memories and not sharing the other things which are in my file.